What's your most meaningful failure or your favorite failure? If you want to go, if you don't want to go into that, you don't have to.
No, I do. I gotta think about that because. I'm like I'm trying to like go through all the archives of like
failure.
Yeah, like because like
probably. I mean, mine is obvious. Rusty Spade, probably, just in terms of the battery, all the
right.
things that I learned from it. I think what's the thing that what is the thing you feel like you've learned the most from? Because usually that's the biggest failure. The thing you learned the most from.
I think there's one film that I made that I look back on and I just don't feel like we could have made it better. And it was a film I made called Conciliate, and I asked myself, well, why don't I like it, or what is it about that film that really feels like, why do I feel some type of way about it? And that the making of the film was just a clusterfuck of just shit. I was sick in the middle of filming. I was sick. So I speak in like different octaves throughout the entire film. Number one. Number two, because I was sick, I don't think I was in the right state, and I was directing the piece as well. I don't think I was in the right state of mind to direct it at times. I think, and there was no way, because someone watching this could be like, Kevin, why didn't you postpone the production? Well, I couldn't. I had this house for 1 week, and there's logistic reasons why the production cannot be postponed. But I was sick during it. I was directing it. I was. It was just, I watch it now and I feel like there were some shots and that I feel like we could have, I think, reshot certain scenes better, and Chris was on that film, and I don't think it's Chris's fault. I think I should have approached that scene differently with my own ideas, and I don't know. So I look at that film, the film's okay. But I think, and it was a sequel to Closure, so it was piggybacking off of a foundation that was already established. But I just feel like I don't know. There's some great scenes came out of it, but
yeah,
it's just like,
was there anything about the writing that you felt, or was it just the execution?
I think it's execution.
Yeah.
That's what execution.
Like Rusty Spade, I feel like I figured out the writing, but I just feel like it was one of those things where you did your best and it. If you went back, you would have did everything you did over again.
Yeah.
Knowing what you knew then. Knowing what I know now, I would have done things differently. I would have given myself a bigger runway.
Right.
To fail. A lot of things. I would have storyboarded. I might at this point, if I were to go back and redo it, I'd rewrite it.
Right.
But I'd not even do it at all.
Yeah.
I'd come up with a better idea or something. I don't know. I think I might go back to it, but it's you do the best you can with planning and prepping, but you basically figure out when shit hits the fan whether that preparation was right or not. And I think I've created all these rules for myself now for things I got to do next for the next film, and things that I use to prepare. But I think like this comedy sketch I did, it was about this. We did a comedy sketch. I might actually unlist it, like not delete it, but like unlist it for a little while to think of if I want to keep it up. It was basically about it was the last comedy sketch we did, not the one we just shot and I'm editing right now. But it was this one about us on a podcast, me and my friend Darlene and David, and we basically were. It was called "Podcast Guests Can't Get a Word in Edge" with sponsor ads. Basically, Darlene was over there. She has this pressing issue, an important issue that's real. And I picked a random issue. I was like, oh, bees. That's an important issue. Because I remember Kevin Colley came on the podcast and talked about bees. Like he wrote a book, a children's book, and a screenplay about like bees. And I loved it. I think it's very relevant. And I do care about the bee issue. It's like, but I was like, what would be the most dick thing for this character to be like interrupting her for? And it's bees. She's there to talk about the bees. She's been studying it all her life, and she's like, I know what we can do to solve the problem. I have the solution. And every time she's like getting to it, it's like I'm asking her like a really dumb question about it. But then I keep coming up with sponsor ads that are ridiculous in and of themselves, like Baxter's Wax. The world's get you know, are you tired of running out of wax? Like, get wax to your door every like month or something. And so ridiculous things. The knock me out couch, like it's a fridge, it's a toaster, a toilet, like all these. Just I think just overall it wasn't as execution, probably writing as well wasn't as good. It just, I think I knew somebody who was a friend of mine at one point who, you know, was like a veterinarian, immediately unfollowed me and blocked me after that. I was like, oh, I didn't see that coming. I was like, okay. I just, and also it performed terribly on social media and Facebook. I'm wondering if it's because they have like AI or something too that like pick up on, oh, is this something like I wonder if it got categorized as something it wasn't.
Yeah.
By the AI.
Right.
I don't know. But I've heard about that.
Yes.
There are like things, systems in place where they listen to the content of what's talked about, and it got categorized as something that it needed to suppress. I don't know. It probably just sucked.
Yes.
I mean, I'm like, I watch it now and I'm like, this kind of sucks.
Right.
I don't know. Like, we not only that, on top of all that, because we were rushing it. If I were to go back, I'd probably have her. I wouldn't have Darlene do it. I would have had a guy, because basically it's two dudes on a podcast, you know, bullying this woman.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, why?
Okay.
You know, I'm like,
right.
Why didn't I see that coming?
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, that wouldn't fly. Like that doesn't. It just came off as mean spirited, and but my friends who know me, who know it's a joke, who get it. Yeah. It was gold to them. Right. They loved it.
Yes.
But then in retrospect, though, like me and David and Darlene from making it were like, yeah, we kind of did. Like, we didn't think about it at the time. And plus the lighting, like I didn't figure out the lighting fully. All sorts of shit that I was like, I'm hoping that the next one I did with Kevin McCauley, it's called Non-Committal Cop. I'm trying to decide whether it's non-committal cop or non-committal cop throws away his badge.
Okay.
It was originally throws away his badge. Non-committal cop throws away his badge because basically he does that and then realizes, oh shit, he has to go find it. And then a fisherman finds it and he's got like got this cat and mouse game going throughout it, and it's full of like punchlines. But I'm hoping that that's much better. If it's not, it might be that my sketches are starting to suck. Yeah, I don't know. Or I'm blacklisted on social media because I dissed bees and that. Right. Yeah, and then I also not to mention that. I totally dissed like peer-reviewed research because I brought up the fact that didn't peer-reviewed research publish Mein Kampf? They did. They basically somebody did that. Okay. They basically changed the words on Mein Kampf to be like something that was woke, and it worked. It got through the system. I mean that was a fact, but I think that probably got me blacklisted because it made me seem like some I don't know. Yeah. But, you know, like some kind of person spreading fake news, but it did technically happen. But I realized everything about the sketch just came off as not something I want to do in the future. Yeah. But I learned from that. Right. I learned from doing it not to do those things. Yeah. So
there was also moments in that when I was filming Conciliate where because I was sick, I had to really reserve my energy for things that, like, you know, picking your battles. And I remember letting actors just getting away with shit, like where, like, if I was in full health at that point, I would have, like, you know, said, no, I don't want you doing that way. I want to do it this way. But like, it was just like, it was such a difficult time that's another thing I remember, just allowing actors to get away with stuff that at the time I would have like said, no, we're going to do it this way. And they would have listened to me, but I just allowed it to happen because I was just in such a shitty mood.
What kind of things were they doing?
Well, like, you know, there was one scene. I mean, I'll just say it, even if he watches it, I don't care. There was one scene where and I actually saved it in the edit. I saved my kind of version of it in the edit. But on set, there was a scene where me and Eric were arguing in this kind of like bed and breakfast.
Was it Eric?
It was Eric, but it wasn't.
Sorry.
It was just like an acting choice. And
Okay.
there was one thing where his character finds a lot of like a wad of money in my back pocket. And so he finds it and he's playing around with it. That all was fine, but there was one moment where he at the end of the scene, Eric decides, not in the script, he decides to throw the money down. And I just like,
it's one of those things that on set it feels right, but if you know the full vision, it doesn't feel right.
And so it was, and I never want, and I hated it from the get-go. Like, as it's unfolding, I'm hating it, but I don't have the energy at that point to even like, so I'm thinking to myself as my brain's going,
how do you kindly say?
I'm thinking like, is this worth it? Do I say something, or do I just let it go? Because I'm not really feeling that well, and I just want to get this scene over with, and I got to reserve my energy because I'm on camera right now, whatever. So I was going through a lot and weighing my options of like, is this worth it? And so I let it go, but fast forward to when it comes down to editing that scene, the way, sort of coincidentally, the way I had picked the shots for that moment, you actually do not see him throw this money down. You actually don't see it, and so and I think so. My initial vision kind of came back out in the edit of it, and if I would have told him don't do that, he would have not done it. But I just did not I just did not have the energy to even I just didn't, and that's awful for a director to allow something for that to happen that they know on the spot they don't want happening. But it's just at that moment I think what I had was a really bad sinus infection, and I was just dealing with a lot, and it was just like whatever.
It's kind of like doing a one take and DPing at the same time, which is what I did with Rusty Spade. And so when I'm so focused on what I'm doing, everybody else is focused on it. And during the one take, you notice an actor is doing something you don't like, but you forget about it each take.
Yes.
You often occasionally I remember what I wanted to give them, but it's like 12 to 20 minutes between shooting it again, and I forget it, like what I was going to tell them, and especially when you're shooting it too, like you can't think of it, and you can't say it to them in the moment because it's like it's a one take. You can't, then it's cut. You have to restart. But so also what there was a question I was going to ask. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this podcast clip. For notes and links to things mentioned on the show, my films, full episodes, or other selected clips, go to proffitableproductions.com/podcast. Profitable is spelled like my name with 2 F's and 2 T's. Also, for updates on future episodes, follow me on Instagram at Proffitt Take and at Profitable Productions. Consider liking and subscribing. It helps me out a lot. Thanks again. Catch you on the next take.